who I am. I'm Pastor Frank of Lighthouse Church. If you could please like this video and always subscribe. That just lets you in on just our videos. I know this morning it was unlisted, but you'll get a notification if you hit that bell. It'll just pop up on your phone and you can just jump right in. So thank you for that. But the title of today is how they tried to kill Jesus after he said this. So now they're actually aiming at him because what he's saying is a little bit more than what everyone else is saying. John chapter 8. They said, "Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day." He saw it and was glad. "You are not yet 50 years old," they said to him. Wow. "And you have seen Abraham? You've seen him? You're not even 50. "Very truly I tell you," Jesus answered, "before Abraham was born, I am." At this they picked up their stones to stone him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. So Jesus is now letting people in on who he is. He is now letting people in on the power that he holds, who the Father is in him, who the Son really is on this earth. And this is important because the Pharisees actually looked to Abraham. And if you remember on Sunday, we actually spoke about this on Sunday. This was in my sermon. They looked up to Abraham. They looked to Abraham, him and Moses, right? The patriarchs, the fathers. And it's interesting. We look back as well to be encouraged. And that's always how it starts. We look back to be encouraged, but there's a problem. They admired these men more than they admired God. They admired what they did more than they admired the Father. And you have to be careful with this. When we do this, when they did this, sometimes we put people, whether it's leaders, right? Today's election day. Everyone's rushing to the polls. Sometimes we put leaders, bosses, influencers, pastors, girlfriends, boyfriends, children. Sometimes we put things above God. We put those things in front of God. And yeah, I said children. I said a spouse. You can easily put that, your spouse, your children, in front of the Lord. You can celebrate how amazing people are, how amazing influencers are. But when there is someone who is actually the greatest, and they are not shown as the greatest, and we don't put them first as the greatest, we have to be reminded that we serve a jealous God. God declares himself to be a jealous God, meaning all the idols we put in front of him, all those things I mentioned, plus the cars, plus the houses, plus how much money we make, any kind of, like the way that we like to just kind of show off. God's like, oh, what about me? Show me off. Where am I in this? And that was what they did. They always were in the scriptures. They were always looking at Abraham, always looking at Moses, talking about it day in and day out. And Jesus says, the guy that you look at as to be so great, he rejoiced of seeing my day when it comes. And now he saw it and he's glad. So this trips them up. They're like, you're not even 50. How are you seeing, how is this happening? You're not even old. Like, that's impossible. What are you saying as yourself? And he says, before Abraham even was, I am. I was. He looks to me and sees me as the greatest. So church, as we're doing these devotions, as we're getting in the Word, as we're starting this together, how could you put him first more? How could you be reminded that Jesus died for you and he requires more of you today? How could you get into this Bible? How could you be more loving and kind to the people in your life? How can you really just pull near to a Father who cares for you more than anything today? Jesus is the greatest. We have a Savior who existed before anyone ever existed. We need to put him up here. We need to see him as the GOAT. We need to see him as someone who ought to be worshiped, ought to be praised, ought to be followed after, ought to be looked to, ought to be studied. We study like books, and we study videos, and we watch all these people like Jordan Peterson, all these people who are brilliant at what they do. But where is Jesus on this list in our life? Where is Jesus as, wow, the way he speaks just pierces my heart, the way I get into his word every single day? We need this more, church. Don't let this slip. When this ends, open up that word. Spend that hour with Jesus. Put on worship music and seek him. Don't worry about who the worship team is, which worship band is the hottest right now. Let me tell you something. None of that matters to God. What matters is, how do you see his son? Where do you put his son in your life? How are you walking with him every day? Before this verse, Jesus says, if you abide in my word, he says it again, if you abide by my truth, this is his words, you will never die. This made them mad. They says, are you greater than Abraham? He's dead. Everyone died. Everyone said they died. And here's Jesus. I was before even Abraham lived. Jesus was before anything that we love so much and cherish ever was even invented, created, or made. Follow him today. He is worth it. God bless you, church. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. Adios.